Joining us this week, a former Houston Texans cheerleader and Houston Rockets power dancer. She took over the role last year as the Houston Texans Cheerleader program manager. It's Casey Potter. Welcome in, Casey.
Thank you, Deepi.
I am so excited to have you. I just powered through 6 hours of Cheer on Netflix. So I told myself it was research for this interview. It was not research for this interview, but I did learn a lot of things, which we will get to in a bit. But I want to ask you, first of all, what's this transition been like? Because it's been a full year now in this role for you. Used to be a cheerleader. I think you were a cheerleader when I started working here.
I believe so.
We overlapped a little bit. Okay, so to go from cheerleader to the person who manages the cheerleaders, what was that whole transition like for you?
Eye-opening. I had the passion. Yes, because I loved cheering and I love sports. And so growing up dancing and growing up loving sports, what better way to marry those two things than to be a cheerleader? So it was like my dream job right there. And then when I came and cheered for the Texans, I went, wait, I think I have another dream job. I want to coach one day. And so it just...
So that occurred to you while you were cheering?
It was just an idea in the back of my mind, and I didn't really want to say anything. You know, I just said, okay, set your goals there and start making steps towards that over the years. And so my coach for the Rockets actually was the person who kind of said to me one day, if you don't say things, just put it out in the universe, it might not ever come to fruition. And so I remember admitting to some of my former teammates, like, I want to be the coach one day. And so that getting in their minds too, and just seeing them believe in me. And so that was amazing. And so getting to come here, be back, and getting to make the current cheerleaders have the best season, the best year possible, that's been a dream come true.
All right, so what years were you actually a cheerleader? Give me a timeline of when you were here with the Texans, when you were with the Rockets.
Yeah,
and then obviously you started in your role last year.
Yeah, so Texans, I cheered 2012 and 13, those 2 seasons, and then got voted to Pro Bowl for that January in 2014. And then right then in 14, I went to the Rockets, and so I was a Rockets power dancer for 3 years, 14, 15, and 16, ending in 17.
Okay, so you've been cheering, and then you went straight into this role. There was not a lot of time off.
No, I took about 1 year off. I was working on my master's and working, going to school. So,
well, does having gone through cheering, how much does it help you become the program manager? What was it about cheering that made you say, you know what, I think I can lead one of these programs?
I believe in my leadership, so I knew I had those skills. I have the passion for dance, and then I have the passion for giving back to the community. So everything that the Texans organization believes in and does here in Houston, I wanted to be a part of that. And so I knew it was just the right fit for me. I knew just had to make the organization know that had let them know that I was the right person.
You did obviously a great selling job, because here you are. How about your experience with your cheerleaders? How much of your experience as a Rockets power dancer, as a Houston Texans cheerleader, do you share with the cheerleaders, good and or bad?
Everything was a learning process for me. And so anything I could take, my experiences from appearances and learning how to speak with people and let them have fun and learn about the organization, I got to know all of that from cheering myself. And so being on this side, it helps me enable the current cheerleaders with what to expect when they go out into appearances and how to really connect with people one-on-one, so that anytime anyone in Houston meets a Houston Texans cheerleader, they get the type of one-on-one contact that, you know, is just what they crave and the relationship that they want with our organization.
Is that the toughest part of being a cheerleader, is just knowing how to go out and to conduct yourself? Because it's a lot of plates that these cheerleaders are juggling at the same time, isn't it? Between the community events, the game. It's like you've got the games, then you've got all the work, the prep work, the community appearances, and a lot of them are working jobs or in school at the same time. Is that the toughest part? And do you think that is the toughest part, is going out in the community and conducting yourself, that you have all this energy and you have all this enthusiasm when you might be really exhausted sometimes?
Oh, completely. I agree with that 100%, because they've got to manage their schedules and their other jobs and responsibilities with finding extra time to do our community outreach and being on and being in that moment and making sure that they're living in that moment and really creating a unique experience for people that they come in contact with.
What was your favorite part of being a cheerleader? Your favorite aspect of it?
Definitely the community outreach.
Was it? Mm-hmm. What did you like about it so much?
That it wasn't just standing there shaking my pom-poms and smiling at people. It was going and interacting. It was really working with them. Even just this season, we were doing Huddle for 100, celebrating NFL 100.
That's right, yeah.
And watching the cheerleaders, they're painting with the kids and they're making new fence posts. And so it's those things that are going to make that kid know, like, oh, they grew up in Houston just like me, and they went to a regular elementary school just like me. And, if that's their dream or whatever their dream is, they're watching someone live that out, and to see them interact with each other, like, I just see them lighting little sparks of inspiration.
I love this series, and we featured it a lot on our show, Texans Buzz, throughout the year. Beyond the Boots, a brand new series that followed the cheerleaders, sort of what their lives are like outside of cheer. What did you want fans to see or learn about your cheerleaders throughout that series?
I think the name says it all. Who are the people on the field? Who are our cheerleaders? They wear their famous red boots, but what about them makes them special? And so we wanted to find a unique way to show that to our fans. And you get to see so many things. You see them in their careers. You see some of them, what their legacy is, why Tori wanted to come try out after knowing her mom had been an Oilers.
I saw that episode,
Derek Dahl.
yes.
Yeah, and then there's a community involvement episode where you see what they're doing in the community, and you go behind the scenes on game day too, and so you get to see their dances that they're putting on the field, and they're just fire and passion on the field and on the sidelines. And so I think that Beyond the Boots has been an amazing way to see what's on the field, what's behind the scenes, what's in their hearts, and what makes them all unique.
All right, speaking of series, so Netflix came out with the series Cheer. It followed the Navarro Junior College cheer team in Corsicana, Texas. Yeah. You and I talked about it briefly. You've seen a little bit of it, or have you seen all of it?
I haven't finished it yet. I'm
you
probably on the 4th episode right now.
Okay, so I started it thinking I don't know anything about cheer. I'll probably watch an hour of it. I just want to see what the fuss is about. And I kid you not, Casey, in 24 hours, I was done with all 6 hours. And I thought I was an expert. I was just like, Morgan, if you don't point your toes, your jumps are going to look like trash. I was so into it. But that seems like a very different world from NFL cheerleading. And what are your thoughts on that? Is that what it was like for you when you were cheering at a younger level?
So I didn't grow up cheering. I grew up dancing. So what we do here at the NFL, that's more my style.
Okay.
But I think that cheerleading and dancing, just in general, are sister sports.
Sure.
They say some things that I don't understand myself. They're like, mat talk. Yeah, pump them up
You're
with your
never
mat
going to
talk.
make the mat.
I know. And in my world, I'm like, oh, just encourage your teammates.
Sure.
Similar but different.
It's a pep talk.
Yeah. So for me watching it, I'm learning things too. I'm like, oh, stunts. What? I don't know anything about the stunting world, but I think that overall, watching their team camaraderie, watching their encouragement, watching the highs and lows, when you don't make something, you needing to improve, those are all things that our cheerleaders go through, and understanding that we call them Houston Texans cheerleaders, but they are dancers. That's a skill they have to have. We have people from both walks of life that come to be cheerleaders for us. Some that had cheerleading inspiration growing up, and some that had dance technique growing up. And so we take all of that and we try to create a team of 34 to 36 that can mesh and blend and go take our field. And so we're similar to the Navarro type cheerleading you see in cheer, but we're a little different.
Yeah, I think that's a good distinction to make. There's dance and then there's cheer, because I always wondered why some cheerleading squads look different than others. And I think, I want to say it was in Baltimore. We went up there for a game, and they have men
they do,
and
yeah,
women.
They have co-ed.
And it looks a little bit, it's maybe somewhere in between the Texans and the college cheer, right?
They have both squads. So they have co-ed, they're doing stunts, but then they also have the dancer style.
Sure. Okay. So what are your thoughts on that? Have you ever thought of bringing in males on the cheerleading squad and doing more stunts? I always wondered, who makes those sort of decisions? Is it something that's ever been considered? Why or why not? I'm sure there's advantages or disadvantages of both.
So for the Texans, our style is dance. So any males that ever came here, we wouldn't focus on stunting because, if we're just going with one of the most obvious things, if we're stunting, our first row fans, they can't see over it. So us staying on level on the sideline is the best situation. But so bringing males in, they'd be dancing just like our current cheerleaders. And so it's about finding the best of the best. We've had some men audition last year, possibly in the past. But so it's about finding the best combo of 34 to 36. The number fluctuates, but whoever stands out the most in that audition hits everything we're looking for. That's what we're going to put on that field.
So we're not going to see baskets anytime soon in games. I always wondered if it was an injury thing, because you're also worried it's you're on the sideline. There's not a whole lot of space for you to work with.
Have you seen those red boots?
And those
They're pretty tall.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even. You'd have to change shoes if you were going to start doing some stuff like that, right?
We do a little bit of tumbling, and like our half times, you'll see us utilize tumbling because they'll be in a sneaker type high top or something. So we try to keep their safety and their ankles really.
You want to keep them healthy throughout the season. It's a long cheerleading season. I'm going to get to tryouts in a bit because I have a lot of questions about that. But I had heard about you as a cheerleader that you seem to have a knack for social media. Someone told me that you just seem to have this it factor, like interviewing players or any interviews you had to do on camera. You were really on the ball with it. Is that something that you really worked on, or did you consider that like your strength back then when you were cheering?
No, not my strength at all.
Really? Okay.
One of my teammates, she ran I can't even remember what it was called, but it was, man, I'm going to have to look that up on Instagram, but she ran some post-game breakdown, and so she would go through play-by-play talking about the games.
Oh, she would.
Always so impressed with her. I think the closest I got to interviewing was interviewed J.J. Watt at Pro Bowl.
This is the story that I heard. Yeah. You just sort of said, all right, J.J., let's do this. And you just went boom, 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 which, I think if you're not doing it every day, that's kind of a hard skill to master.
I'd have to go back and look because I had sacked Toro at this Pro Bowl.
Okay.
And so that's what JJ wanted to talk about. He came and found me on the sidelines. He was like, that sack. I was like, it was a Watt sack. What can I say? I really kind of looked like a flying squirrel. So it was a bit
embarrassing. Did you have a celebration,
though?
That's the important question. Did you celebrate at least?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good for you.
I don't know if I look so much like a football player celebrating or more like kind of WWE SmackDown Raw. Like I was in it a different element, but so that was mainly what we talked about, and so it was nice that we both got to talk about our Pro Bowl experience, what it was like in Hawaii, and I just kind of pulled from our experiences that week on what I was going to interview him on, but I would not say that I have a knack for it.
All right, so you've got tryouts coming out, which I think is an important time of year for you because it's probably really busy for you. What can you tell us about upcoming tryouts, some of the things you're looking for, and what are the challenges of, I've seen it. Is it in the Houston Methodist Training Center again? That's usually where it is. It's just like a room full of dancers, of participants, and you have to judge who you're going to pick for this squad.
Yeah.
What's that all like?
It's so fun. We're recruiting right now. We're trying to get the word out about coming to tryouts because you never know what we're looking for is people who have a passion for our city, have knowledge about the Houston Texans. I want Texans fans because those are going to be our number one advocates when we send them out for us.
Sure.
So I want people who know football are on that sideline cheering us on, and I want people who are poised and have grace and just speak well when they're interacting with people, really know how to make people feel like they're getting a very unique, organic experience. And so I want people who can go there and have fun when they're out in the community, have fun at practice. We're always looking for positivity. And so we're looking for a lot of things. And
that's a lot. That's a long list.
So that's why we have so many rounds at tryouts. And then they go through so many things because they're going through interviews. They're doing finals. We see them multiple days in a row because who you are when you're tired at practice is a little different than when you're fresh on the morning. And so that's why we do about a full week to get to know them and make sure we really know who these individuals are and if they are ready to wear our uniform.
So you have different categories, like you have the dance and then you have interview portion. What are sort of the breakdowns of some of the categories you're looking at?
So we're looking at their dance ability. How fast can they pick up choreography? We're looking at.
I'd be horrible at that.
I bet I could get you there.
I'd need a lot of coaching, more than a week. Okay.
You already know that Morgan needs to point her toes on cheer, so
I'm a good director.
At least on the coaching side, you're picking up pretty quickly. But and then we're looking for personality. We want people who are genuine, honest, humble, but confident. So we are confident cheerleaders, but we're also humble within what we do. So kind of having that all-around character also is really important.
You mentioned recruiting. What does recruiting look like?
Recruiting looks like getting the word out. We're putting flyers at local gyms and anywhere, a lot of workout type, a lot of college. What are those called?
Navarro? University?
We're not going that far. We're looking more locally and then just reaching out to collegiate cheerleading squads, collegiate dance teams, and getting them to know about our organization.
So do you have a story of like maybe the strangest place that you have found a potential cheerleader?
I don't know. I'm only a year in, Deepi.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I thought maybe from your experience, because you're right. There's only so many. The pool in Houston, while it's a big city, you're looking for a lot of different things. So it's like the bigger net you can cast, the better for you. So do you go? You and I had discussed maybe you were going to go to different cities within Texas as well, right?
Definitely doing that, traveling out and talking to those collegiate teams. The furthest that I've recruited was here local, but when Vanderbilt came for Texas Bowl, I got to talk to their Palm squad, and so I think that's the furthest we've recruited, but technically they came to us, so I was cheating a little bit.
No, I think that's outstanding that you're able to pull girls from all over and kind of get to know them. What about you? What do you remember about your tryout? Do you remember it?
I was tired. I was scared. I was exhausted. I mean, it was just a whirlwind of emotions. You walk into what we like to call lovingly as the bubble, but the Houston Methodist Training Center.
Right.
And it's just a wow moment. You walk in, there's turf, there's lights, and you're awestruck for a second.
And there's so many people in there.
And then it's your game face because you're like, I want that spot. You know, there's only so many, and you got to be in it for yourself. And so I was trying to encourage other people, but at the end of the day, worry about me.
You got to get your steps on. When did you feel like, hey, I might have a chance to make it? Or were you pretty confident since you had the dance background?
Confident.
You weren't.
No, as a dancer, trying out and auditioning, that's a skill, and so you have to make sure you're practicing how quickly you can pick up choreography and turn around and perform it. And so I walked in that first year like, this is going to be my practice round, and I just want to find out what the audition process is like, get comfortable in it. I did not think I was going to make it that first year. I thought it was going to take me a couple of years to get into the fold, and just each round I kept seeing my number, and I was getting little more excited. I was like, I'm getting pretty close. Oh my gosh, this might work out. And I ended up making it that first year, which was a blessing.
All right, so the next year you make it again, but it's not like once you've made it, you're in. You've got to go through the whole process all over again, right?
You start from the beginning. I think it's a little harder for vets. That was my experience.
Do you think the pressure is a little bit higher?
It is.
Yeah,
that first year you can make it just based off of your potential and what you can show them you can do. But that after your first year, you've got to prove, I got it. You saw improvement in me, and I get what you're doing here. And so you got to kind of prove your way back in.
All right, so what's your biggest piece of advice for anyone that wants to try out for the Houston Texans cheerleaders?
Confidence. I think even when you're doubting yourself, don't look around and compare yourself to others. Just stay in your own spot and be confident, because even if you go out there during auditions and you forget something, if you can sell yourself, just keep dancing, do some trick and wow me, even though it's completely wrong. If you can sell your confidence to me, it'll get you to the next round.
This is just like in cheer, they practice mess ups. When you mess up, how to like recover and bounce back very quickly. All right, okay, so the tryouts are March 28th through the 29th. I love that you guys are also holding a prep class for tryouts on March 21st. What can participants expect to see in there?
3 prep classes.
3 prep classes.
We're starting in February.
Oh, okay.
1 in February, 2 in March. So they've got 3 opportunities to come in.
Okay.
Prep classes are just going to prepare them for the auditions. But they're also, if you're not ready for auditions, or you think you just kind of want to go take a dance class, they're fun for those people too. They're open to anybody, and it's a way to learn dances that were performed during the 2019 season. So these are actual HTC performances, and so they're going to learn those dances. They'll learn how to get our walk, because we have a very specific walk when we take the field. So they'll learn the walk, they'll learn the attitude that it takes to be an HTC, and it's just about getting that one-on-one kind of a more close-knit experience before you go into prep class, or before you go into auditions.
And then when you go into tryouts, hopefully there'll be a familiar face or two watching you and judging you from the other side. All right, Casey, what are you working on for the next few weeks? And where can people find out what the cheerleaders are up to?
All of the information can be found on our website. You can find the sign up for tryouts and for prep classes. And so prep classes are that opportunity to get FaceTime with me. Let me see what you got before the day of tryouts. And so they're a great opportunity.
All right, good stuff. Casey Potter, Houston Texans cheerleader, program manager, our very own Coach Monica right here at Houston Texans. If you watch cheer, I'm a little bit obsessed with it. All right, Casey, best of luck this offseason, and we're really excited to see what the new squad looks like.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.